I am one of two Aboriginal support workers, and we essentially provide social, emotional, academic support for the students in North Peace. So those students are First Nations, non-status, status, Inuit, Métis, etc. And we are providing, I guess, a wide range of support. We work as liaison between teachers, students, communities, parents, families. We also work as a liaison between different supports within the community. And a big part of our job, which has been really exciting, has been implementing First Nations content in a meaningful way. So implementing knowledge, helping connect with knowledge keepers, connect them with the students, and also find ways to give students recognition and credit for the knowledge that they already possess themselves, and really encourage them in becoming both knowledge keepers and leaders within their communities. Our age group's pretty wide at the high school. We go from roughly about 15 to 19. So the aim of the program, I guess, on the surface is to support success in our Indigenous students. So that looks like a variety of different things. I mean, obviously academic success is a big thing, and supporting our students so that they can go on and have successful careers and meaningful lives and healthy lives. But how are we getting at that, I guess, is a bigger part. And what we've been realizing, and a big focus over the past while, has been encouraging resiliency and fostering resiliency within our students, giving students tools to manage the different stress factors and realities that come up in their lives, so that they can really take that on and take on a leadership role in their own personal life. And then we do stay connected with some of our grads as well. Fort St. John is lucky enough to have a really successful dual credit program. And we are also trying to find ways to kind of build that community beyond the walls of the school, to help students who maybe who've graduated but are still involved as either a knowledge keeper or a support for the students, find ways to keep them involved in our community. Another thing is community development, and building relationships. That's become really, really important to us. And we've noticed, particularly last year, when we invested our time and our efforts with students who really showed strong leadership qualities and really empowered them within the school system to help decide what our community was going to do, what our goals were going to be, what our different projects we're going to be taking on over the year, to help younger students transitioning into our schools, that we were remarkably successful. And so that's really become a big focus, because that's also connected to that resiliency piece. What's really amazing about working with our students is we have quite a large population, over 200 students, Aboriginal students in the high school. Among those 200, some of them might be complete strangers, but within that, over the course of the year, we get to watch these really amazing communities show up, and those students are going to be looking out for each other when they're missing a class or they're dealing with struggles in their personal life. They're also going to be helping new students join that community if they don't have a sense of belonging in the school. They're the ones that are helping us find them and connect with them, and provide that sense of belonging. Again, coming back to implementing First Nations perspectives and knowledge into the classroom with a new curriculum coming in, it's really important that we're integrating knowledge in a way that isn't tokenism, that is actually really honoring those teachings, honoring our elders, demonstrating the immense amount of knowledge that our youth have, and our elders have, and our people have. We in the North have opportunities, for example, of there's some students who are incredible trappers. And those students are perhaps in an outdoor education class in the high school, and these students go and run a trap line on their own on the weekends throughout the rest of their life, and are really powerful knowledge keepers. And so we're looking at that and going, okay, how do we get that student credit for that? How do we allow them to become a teacher to other students who might not have that opportunity or those expertise? And how do we make them feel that their culture and their knowledge is really valued, not only by us, but by the school system as a whole and by their peers? The success stories we've had over the course of the years has really been showing that. Probably talk about it a little bit more later, but programs like Learning Through Our Elders, which we launched a couple years back, but last year really it became something beautiful. We worked with a group of students after school, and they were instructed to connect with an elder whether that was an elder they had an existing relationship with, or whether that was an elder that we would introduce them to and help them build that relationship with, and then to begin to take on a role as a knowledge keeper. So going through the process of learning different protocols with interacting with their elders, learning some of the history of colonization and the impact it's had on intergenerational trauma and on elders and communities. They are then kind of take on a role as really going out and deciding what that project looks like for themselves. So students who are dancers, we had a lot of students who were really interested in traditional medicines. And so they would go out with an elder, with a knowledge keeper, and they would find out what these medicines were. They would learn to identify them. They would learn the protocols and practices with harvesting. And then they presented to the other students on what they had learned throughout that experience. And it was absolutely incredible. It was amazing to sit down with these students and have conversations about what they were gaining about. There's also nothing really more inspiring than seeing kids willing to spend 2 hours after they've already gone through a full school day to be involved in this project that they're really passionate about, and then to hear them present on the final day and talk about how much it had changed their experience with education and their relationship with their elders and their relationship to culture, because of a lot of our students who grow up in town who took a course like that, they may not have had that strong connection to their culture. So this was a way that we were able to do that while also supporting them and getting credits, so connecting with their academic success. It's just finding different ways to get into the classroom, and also to bring the classroom out to students' actual lives. So we partnered with the Reserve Blueberry and their program, while they connected with a group called Norwegian, and they made a music video project. And so I was able to go to English teachers and social studies teachers within our school and say, look, these kids are going to write a song. It's going to talk about their history. It's going to talk about their culture. They're going to create a music video, a storyline about it. These kids deserve credit for the time and effort they're putting into it. How do we make this count towards the class that they're in? And teachers were really excited to do that. For example, as teachers have been asking us to come in and do language teaching, so bringing in elders who know the Denizal language or the Cree language, and working with those classes to say, okay, we're talking English or we're talking social studies, but what is our relationship to language, and what is the First Peoples of this land's relationship to their language, and how does language allow us to tell stories, and what is at stake when we lose a connection to our language? Bringing things like talking circles into a classroom and helping students manage stress, but also create a sense of community and connection with their fellow students, while also really getting to practice and develop communication and active listening skills, and then grounding that in the teachings that our facilitators were given from their elders, and talking about and paying a tribute to those teachings, and showing why they are so valued, and go from something where initially they might be hesitant to doing it, and now later on in the year they're coming and talking to us and saying, okay, when's the next circle? When are we going to do something like this again? When is an elder coming into our classroom again? The frameworks we've been using for classes like Learning Through Our Elders. Learning Through Our Elders is really, really exciting because it's a school district approved course. So our kids are getting credit for a really exciting piece of a really exciting class, and I would love to see it implemented in more districts across the country.